Kevin, I just want to say I really appreciate the conscientiousness of the answer you gave before, and I almost sort of gave a little bit of a trick question, but so sorry about that. But my nephews, I love them so much, and they love video games too. But my sister and her husband, they're also pretty conscientious about how much screen time that they get. And one thing that I see in games that's so different now than when, I mean, even just when I was a kid, is there's such commercialization, and the drive for money makes it so that all of these games are so oriented around keeping the player involved and trying to get every last cent. So when I played Angry Birds as a kid, it was a simple game, and you would throw the bird at the pigs and break down their towers, and that was it. And you could pretty much play all of it. I don't think costing anything. I mean, the game originally maybe was 99 cents, and that was it, but it was a one-time purchase. But now that version of the game is not available. There's only the second Angry Birds, and my nephew was playing this game, and you know, it's supposed to be fun, but he wasn't having fun because he had to get a certain amount of points so that he could get the apple to feed his little baby bird, which he had named after himself. He called it Junior. And I mean, it's really cute, but at the same time, it was making him feel so emotionally distressed because little Junior was like starving in the game, and he would say, "Mommy, he's so hungry. I have to keep playing so I can feed him." And like, he needed to go to bed, and he was so tired. He was so tired. No. But he didn't want Junior to be hungry. And of course the solution is pay money, buy the points so that you can get the apple. And I was just like, this is messed up, dude. Like, this game is not good for him. It's not making him happy. It's not fun. But it is addictive. And I don't think that's ethical game design, especially stuff that's oriented for kids. So I'm glad that you think about that stuff.
Yeah, and that's a perfect example of sort of not quality screen time, right? So one of the things that when we think about things like the number of hours of screen time or the quantity, right, the quality is really, I would argue, more important in terms of, you know, what they're doing in that time, because, you know, like you know, anything, right, game design and technology, like you were saying, Alex, right, it's a double-edged sword. It can be used for really good purposes or really terrible purposes. And, you know, a big part of games and game design, or a big sort of area of it, right, is that sort of Skinner box, like dopamine, you know, how am I going to get the next hit? Or like you said, that sounds very emotionally manipulative, you know, with this little bird, right? And certainly, you know, that's something that we try to be really conscientious of. Like, I feel like, you know, when we come up with an idea or we talk about something, it's like, well, but is that, like, you know, okay for kids or parents, right? We don't want to be exploitative of parents too, right? We were just talking about this last week around something we were discussing where it's like, well, you know, we also don't want to like paywall parents out of, you know, experiences that they could have with their children. So, you know, it's a really interesting balance to strike with, you know, because we are not, you know, a lot of educational games might be funded by, say, you know, a government, or, you know, especially outside of the US or university, right? So, or perhaps some kind of grant, but that's not our model. So it's a really interesting thing to talk about, is how we have a model, right, where we can sort of have this ethical sort of business, right, where we're generating value as people are, you know, giving us money for it.
Yeah, and I love that term, quality of screen time as well. That's why I won't play MMOs anymore. Generally, the quality of the timing there, if it's not played with people you're getting close to, is just low. High time, low quality. Rather, a 30-minute or 2-hour game that just has me, you know, a short hike, phenomenal. 4 hours, you're done.
I had that one on a syllabus last semester. yeah, that's a great one. Yeah.
I want to add on the topic. You know, it's been something that we've spent a lot of time thinking about. You know, reflecting on the state of the games industry and the state of games and sort of the business model of games, right? Like, gaming is larger than film and music combined, I think, sort of in the last several years. And, you know, there's a sort of trend of microtransactions and monetization that, you know, games have moved towards, which have become really effective sort of wealth transfer mechanisms, which is like how do we sort of get as much money out of our player as possible, and kind of continue to invest some amount of that back into creating new game experiences. But for kids, like, those are really unhealthy. We've even seen some children's educational products that have had really I'll dare say predatory type of monetization practices, where they do create that pinch with the parent, which is like, hey mommy, I need some money so I can do this thing, right? Like, that's really gross. Just come out and say that. It's and I think that
banned it for a reason.
What's that?
Europe's banned it for a reason.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Its games can't even have loot boxes in them, period.
Yep. And it's something that's really difficult when there are not a lot of business models that are not doing that today, or you have games that are made for adults, right? And primarily, I would say, I don't know, 99% of games that are made today are made for adults. They're not made for kids. But what do we inevitably do? We're like, oh, we played games growing up. We want to have our kids experience this game. Let's go give them this experience. And then it's like, wait, how many times are you asking me for money every day? Like, why can't you make any more progress? The paywalls in games, are really frustrating for me. I remember seeing some of them in Clash Royale when that game first started to implement the paywall. I was like, wait a minute, like, I was happy to pay you $20, like, for a one-time thing, but now you want me to pay you $20 every like 3 months? Come on. I don't know about that.
Yeah.